Okay. We are recording. I don't know. We should have a script or something. But I mean, we know generally what we're talking about.
Oh, the cool thing about that is, watch this. What the fuck was that?
3D.
There goes my hero.
I need my invisible juice.
It's the juice of the invisible.
It's the juice of the gods. And we shall compare and contrast.
Because I don't trust you. I don't trust you the least. Where's the Wi-Fi?
I have that on camera. This light is really bright.
It's very bright.
I'm gonna...
I feel like I'm gonna die. What?
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Not too sure what that is.
That's recorded. That's on record. People can hear that.
Now we lit. Glare! I should get classes.
Where's my beanie? I need my beanie.
What if we were both wearing beanies? She talks quite a bit.
Yes.
She's talking about her dog. And politics. And movie stars. And Jeremy.
Just talked about the fact.
Jeremy Renner. Oh, do you want to talk about Jeremy Renner beating up his wife? Beanie. Product placement.
Eels.
Oh my god, now we're matching.
Look at us, we have beanies on our heads. We must do all the things
We're like
to have our
different
beanies
types
on
of
our heads.
emo. The gravity of the situation.
How dare you
man.
go imply that I would have gravity as background of photo? How dare you?
Did you not like Gravity?
It was alright.
Yeah, alright.
Gravity's alright.
6 or 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Review over.
Boom! Review over.
Bam! Review over.
Directly in camera. Bam!
Bam!
Alright, it's another new year, and being 2020, I've got foresight up the ass. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm 20.
Yeah.
Almost legal.
And bam. And cut and redo. Once again, it's that time of year. It's the time of year where we tell you about the best films of the year, and we're going to talk about 2019. Here we picked the 10 best films that, you know, from both of us that we thought were the pinnacle of cinema. Let's get started.
For 2019.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. What we have for number 10.
Number 10!
What should we do to transition
Like this.
to
Number 10! And then I'll do like some sort of thing.
swipey thing?
Yeah, you'll do some sort of swipe. You're going to edit the video.
Okay.
You know what to do.
Number 10.
Let's hit the title.
The Beach Bum.
Man, you look like shit.
I look like I always look.
So, this movie was one of the most entertaining experiences of the year. Even watching it in the theater, there were drunk people just sitting next to us, and it just made it feel so much more real. I personally am a huge fan of Harmony Korine's filmmaking. He's one of my biggest inspirations, period. Even so, in a way, this story is a fresh of breath air.
A breath of fresh air.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. And it's a really interesting place to see him creating a story that is much more accessible to mainstream audiences than any of his previous works comparably, but it's still so genuine and so him. As far as production and post, it's not perfect, which is why it's in the number 10 slot. There are things that I personally really despised about it, namely the Hollywood score. I don't even remember who the composer is. I mean, you could look at his filmography and you could see all the other shitty scores he did. Sorry, not sorry. But otherwise, it's just a fun ride watching a polished A-list actor turned into a crooked tooth skirt-chasing Florida man, constantly drinking and smoking his way through life while trying to write a book, and it's absolutely perfect. Like, it's so, when you're watching it, it feels like you're getting a secondhand high. It's like a feel-good movie, but from Harmony Korine. Snoop Dogg apparently brought a bunch of weed to the set, and Matthew McConaughey and everyone were just like, you could tell.
That's absolutely on brand.
Yeah, exactly. It's super legit, obviously. It's really interesting and kind of awesome to see Harmony kind of evolve his filmography, and not saying that like making your films more accessible to mainstream audiences is something to be admired necessarily. He still works it, and it still feels like one of his great character studies. And it's a feel-good movie, and I can't wait to watch this again and again. And I can do that now that it's on Hulu. Hulu plug.
Shout out to Hulu.
Shout out to Hulu.
Number 9.
Not sponsored.
Hail Satan. I keep coming back to this movie, and I find myself constantly referencing it as this massive historical prevalence in American society today. Hell, I think it's important to see it anywhere, really. It's really self-aware, it's perfectly organized, both structurally and narratively, and it's, well, most importantly, endlessly entertaining. Mm-hmm. There's a really important conversation to be had here about the freedom and being able to choose and challenge religion, the government, and the overall authority. And the importance of separating both church and state, which is something that, you know, used to be sacred in this country, but is no longer. Mm-hmm. Not only is this a satisfying and, you know, totally educational, but it's also eye-opening, even for someone like ourselves who, you know, we're already excited to see the movie last year at the Sundance Film Festival. We encourage absolutely everyone to see it, no matter if you're religious or if you're political, either right or left. It's just one of those documentaries that if you open your mind to it, it could maybe change it.
Yeah, it really is eye-opening. And it's so much fun to watch, too, just the people they have on there. Great documentary. Best documentary of Sundance. Also.
It's definitely the best documentary of the year, too, because it's the only one on this list.
Ooh, spoiler.
Number 8!
Number 8, Peanut Butter Falcon.
Hey, what's rule number 1? Party.
Shia LaBeouf is back, baby!
Just do it, baby!
Just do it, baby! Couple this feel-good drama with his Sundance standout Honey Boy, and you get a possible resurrection of a man and his love of the medium. One whose struggles and strives have all led him to this. Centering on a young man with Down syndrome who dreams of the bright lights of professional wrestling. With a love of its world and a beautiful display of representation, this is one that has all the heart and soul that cinema can stomach. Equal parts Steinbeck and Sawyer, its portrayal of an unlikely friendship is one that'll possibly leave you and everyone else in the theater a puddled mess.
Number 7!
Number 7!
Booksmart.
Fuck those losers. Fuck them in their stupid fucking faces.
Up there with Juno and Mean Girls, this coming-of-age comedy feels like everything that Superbad wasn't. Then again, she's not the biggest fan of Superbad.
T.
But this feels like what Superbad was going for originally. It's actually funny. I laughed and chuckled a million times. The characters are great, and the direction's fantastic. I love how it looks. I love the cast. There's just too much to love about this. And while its story sometimes still falls into the formula, as the characters have to go to a party and graduation is near and high school cliche after high school cliche, you know, including we're super virgins who have to fight at some point because the movie needs some sort of conflict, it's still one of the most creative and well-written outputs the genre has ever released. Much like Bo Burnham's 8th Grade, I think this one will be another classic that breaks through in understanding and representing this generation.
Younger generations. What up?
I'm an old man. So it's totally fine.
Number 6, 1917.
Number 6!
1917!
In your own time, gentlemen. Must be something big if the channel's here.
Sam Mendes delivers on everything. Its action is thrilling, its camera work bold, the whole film features an energy that is unlike anything. At its core, it's an escort mission. In reality and execution, it's a conglomeration of talented individuals formulating a cinematic experience that 2019 has yet to see.
There's a lot of words in that.
I know, my mouth is full of spit right now. Leading man, George McKay, is at the center of it all, and the clever editing makes this one-trick pony the right horse to bet on. Roger Deakins was forever a bridesmaid until his win for Blade Runner, and here he is possibly on the precipice of another Oscar win. Rarely is World War I the subject of a film compared to its sequel, which is often preferred. This goes out of its way to show you that this war was too hell on earth. Its script is its only flaw, leaving too much on the table emotionally and lacking the heft that other films feature in spades. But still number 6, so.
That's right.
That's right.
Because sometimes a one-trick pony only has to do one trick.
That's right.
Number 5, The Farewell.
She doesn't know, so you can't say anything. The family thinks it's better not to tell her.
Director Lulu Wang brings us a highly personal piece about a Chinese family going the extra mile to withhold the truth from their matriarch. Awkwafina brings all the emotion for her part and crafts her character to be the film's quaking epicenter. At times ultra vulnerable, and in other moments stalwart in her belief that these perceived shenanigans aren't the right way to go. The difference in cultures are lovingly brought forth here. The perceptions of those born and living as Asian Americans as opposed to those who are Chinese citizens is another avenue that locks this down. All the feels get felt as we witness a diagnosis of sorts, a wedding, a dinner, and all the other hallmarks of a family drama. Instead of typical filmmaking, Wong wants us to be part of the family, never picking a side, not demonizing the family members, and simply go along for the ride. Truly a year's best and a fascinating first step in what I hope is going to be a really long career for Lulu. Number 4! Untitled Chapter!
Well, I'll tell you what I know. That's the dumbest fucking bet I ever heard of.
I disagree. Gary.
A thrilling and sometimes hilarious downward spiral about one man's foolish obsession with gambling on himself in order to scratch some inherent itch. The characters are great, the dialogue is amazing, and the story is out of control. I've seen all the Safdie movies now except for Daddy Longlegs, and they feel like they've come such a long way even though they pretty much just started out expert filmmakers. I love Heaven Knows What, and while Good Time had a lot going for it, I really felt that it was all improved on, if not perfected, in the genre of character-driven crime thrillers with uncut gems. Every Safdieism ratcheting up the tension and coiling like a viper, ready to strike the audience. That, for me, is simply a perception you'll have to make for yourself. Sandler gives a performance not seen from him since his work with Baumbach or PTA. Paul Thomas Anderson, by the way. Punch Drunk Love, go see it if you haven't. Amazing movie. Number 1. Either way, Uncut Gems is an unshakable, exhilarating, painful viewing experience. It's a game changer.
Number 3! The Lighthouse.
Keeping secrets, are you?
No, sir.
This one, much like Egger's previous film, The Witch, might take some getting used to, especially for her. While the story has to be a little conflicted, the off-putting moments, the amazing showcase acting, the gorgeous cinematography all make for an objectively interesting, if not slightly visceral, experience. Whew, and boy, what an experience it is. It's 1-for-1 ratio, propelling the madness to straight lunacy as we sink deeper and deeper with our characters into the crazy, muddled mess of this film's New England setting. Pattinson and Dafoe work together in a tapestry woven of their own misery. The black and white was a bold choice by cinematographer, what's his name?
We could always insert the name in post.
Some of Dafoe's pirate slang can be quite off-putting, but this takes nothing away from either man, who both seem totally content to duel one another in an acting joust that's both enthralling and fun to watch.
It's fisherman slang.
It's pirate slang. He said I and R and
Why can't it be fisherman slang? He's not a pirate.
He definitely.
He's a lighthouseman.
He's a lighthouse.
He's a fisherman.
So you get Marriage Story.
Marriage Story, number 2. Number 2, Marriage Story, the best.
It's not as simple as not being in love anymore.
Best movie ever.
Number 2.
I know everything about this movie. Noah Baumbach directed it. Adam Driver was in it. We like him. He plays Kylo Ren.
All of this.
No, we're not.
Number 2.
Scarlett Johansson. She's pretty. She has short hair.
We're cutting all of this. Noah Baumbach's very personal piece that, quite frankly, could be seen as autobiographical. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson play a couple who, on the brink of divorce, decide they want to be amicable. That is, until we meet Laura Dern's divorce lawyer character, who somehow convinces Scarlett that she not only needs to take the child, but separate him from her father. One of the things that the movie does really well, though, is not take sides. It doesn't make one a villain over the other. Even if the dialogue is so precise and the acting so pristinely watched over by Baumbach's eye, almost as if Big Brother's there in the corner, it all still feels very authentic and very natural. What this leads to, especially for me, is a very emotional output, a very cathartic experience, especially for people who have been through these sort of situations before. If you get a chance to see this, and there's no excuse you wouldn't, it's on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Definitely check this one out, and if you didn't think Scarlett Johansson could act before, your mind may be changed after watching Marriage Story or Jojo Rabbit, which she's really good as well.
And now here are some honorable mentions. Some movies that just...
Si ha apagado la luz roja, se ha encendido la verde.
You're a top man. Prepare to leave the house.
Today you boys will be involved in such activities as fog.
Number one.
Number one. What is number one?
It has to be.
Do you want to say it together? Parasite! Who could have known?
Yeah, no, everybody knew that.
Everyone knew.
Just tell them why.
It's just, okay, so I'll say why. A classic, one of the greatest films in South Korean cinema from one of the greatest directors, period. It succeeds in bringing so much humor, intensity, and depth to its characters and its story. It really blew me away in every aspect and characteristic that films are capable of delivering. Thematically and visually, it carries so much weight in the meanings, symbolism, and presentation. There's not a single thing that I can think of that it can improve upon in any way possible. While I didn't have as many faves for this year, in general, 2019 was kind of an iffy year. This makes up for it 10 times over. An entertaining, eye-opening black comedy about the value of family and the power dynamic / tensions between classes. You just have to see it. You have to see it for yourself.
If you've not seen this, you're out of your mind.
You're missing out. It's such an experience. It's so twisty. Like, every single beat lays down something tremendous and just stressful and so entertaining. You just have to see it.
Every scene and every small little thread is paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Every moment that we earn with each character is paid off in full.
Mm-hmm.
And rarely does a film accomplish this. If the only thing keeping you from seeing Parasite is the words on the screen, you're out of your mind.
You're a dummy.
Just learn how to read. I don't know what to tell you. Parasite's the best film of 2019. Both from us here at FilmSnob Reviews and every place else you can possibly imagine.
Which says something.
That it's inherently good. We'll be rooting for it come February 8th at the Academy Awards, and we hope you will be too.
Best director, best picture. Everyone keep your toes and fingers crossed.
If you
Because
can cross your toes, you're a weird person.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
I can cross my toes.
That's just weird. From FilmSnob Reviews, this has been William.
It's been Chai Simone.
And we're here yet again, talking to you about the best of the year. We'll see you later.
Deuces. I feel like I have to sneeze. Oh.